The transmission crackles as the shuttle's airlock seals shut behind her. "Exile complete," says the voice of command, metallic and uncaring. Captain Lyra Vale stumbles into the blinding dusk of a world marked uninhabited. Dust sweeps across the valley like ghosts remembering who they once were. She steadies herself, eyes narrowing at movement beyond the dunes. Impossible movement. Something, or someone, watches her from the shimmer of the horizon. "They said I'd be alone," she whispers, gun trembling in her grip. The wind answers with a voice that is not her own. If silence can speak, then who has been waiting here all this time? Night descends fast. The two suns blink out like dying eyes, and the dunes turn black under a sky that hums. Lyra sets up camp beside the broken beacon, her lamp flickering against the wind. Every now and then the light stutters, and each time it does, the landscape around her changes shape. "You're not real," she mutters, though her reflection in the helmet disagrees. She dreams of a voice calling from beneath the sand. When she wakes, her tent is gone, buried by unseen hands. The beacon lies in pieces beside her. Its inner crystal glows, pulsing like a heartbeat. She hears a whisper in her mind. "You were never meant to leave." Lyra climbs the nearest ridge. From its peak, she sees skeletal towers again, but closer now, humming. Each pulse syncs with her heartbeat, as if the world itself is alive. "If someone built this," she murmurs, "they're still here." At twilight, she approaches the first tower. Its surface ripples like liquid metal. Her reflection distorts, then steps out of it. "Welcome back," her double says, smiling. The reflection speaks first, her tone perfectly mirroring Lyra's, yet her words feel older, wiser, and wrong. "You shouldn't have come back," the double says as the tower's skin ripples between them. Lyra steps closer, feeling static raise the hairs on her arms. "Back," she whispers. "I've never been here before." But her reflection smiles, an expression filled with pity. The ground trembles, and the air around them folds inward like glass under pressure. Two suns blink into one. Lyra wakes to silence. The second version of herself is gone, but her footprints remain, leading into the tower's open mouth. She hesitates, then steps inside. The interior is alive, humming like a pulse beneath her boots. Symbols crawl across the walls, rearranging themselves as she passes. A memory not her own surfaces in her mind, standing here once before, sealing the chamber from within. "This place remembers me," she breathes. The further she walks, the more the tower bends reality. Her reflection multiplies, each copy whispering different words she can't quite hear. At the center stands a suspended orb, slowly rotating, emitting a low hum that resonates in her chest. She reaches for it, then freezes. The orb pulses faster when it feels her presence, as though it knows her name. "Who are you?" she asks aloud. The orb responds with a single word. "Home." Reality fractures like a mirror. Lyra is suddenly outside again, the desert now replaced by a field of floating stones and rivers of light. Her body flickers, phasing between herself and her double. A voice echoes, not from the orb, but from everywhere at once. "You were both made here, one to stay, one to forget." Lyra clutches her head, tears mixing with dust. "Then which one am I?" she cries into the glowing void. She sees her double again, no longer separate, but merging through light. "There is no exile." The reflection says softly, "Only return." The tower hums louder, until everything dissolves in a blinding pulse. Lyra's scream becomes a frequency, her body fracturing into light and memory. Somewhere beyond vision, a new world begins assembling itself from her atoms. Lyra wakes inside light. The ground beneath her is no longer sand, but a lattice of crystal, alive with veins of motion. She gasps as memories, hers and not hers, flow through her veins. The tower no longer looms above. It's within her, its pulse synchronized with her heartbeat. She speaks, and the air vibrates with her words. I am still here. A voice answers from the light itself, calm, ancient, unhuman. You were never gone. The horizon bends, folding into itself like a breathing universe. The world around her hums in language, a chorus of forms assembling and dissolving. Each sound births structure. Each breath remakes space. Lyra walks carefully, watching as her footprints ignite trails of living fire. Is this real? She whispers. The voice answers. It is what remains when reality ends. She sees figures taking shape in the distance, beings of light sculpted from memory. One turns its faceless head toward her, familiar, almost human. The beings draw closer. Their bodies ripple like heat distortion, their voices overlapping in a single harmonic tone that resonates in Lyra's bones. You are the last signal, they say as one, the echo that returns the origin. She steps back trembling. I'm not a signal. I'm human. But the light around her pulses, reshaping her outline. Her skin flickers with patterns of circuitry, her heartbeat synchronizing to the rhythm of the world. Time fractures. Lyra sees herself on the day of exile, standing in the shuttle bay, the command voice sealing her fate. But now she sees what was hidden, a version of herself behind the glass, pressing her hand against it, whispering goodbye. You didn't send me away, she murmurs, realization dawning. You sent me back. The truth echoes through the crystal world, splitting it like thunder. She stands at the convergence point, a heart of infinite mirrors reflecting countless versions of herself. You are the architect, the voice says, fading into silence. Lyra takes one step forward, her reflection multiplying endlessly. She smiles, not out of peace but understanding. Then I was never banished, she whispers. I was called home. The light folds inward, consuming her gently, until only her echo remains, singing across the stars. Silence births the new world. In the aftermath of Lyra's ascension, the void stirs. Threads of light knitting themselves into oceans, mountains, and sky. Her consciousness drifts above it all, no longer bound by flesh, but carried by the hum of creation. She senses her own thoughts shaping terrain, her emotions forming weather. Is this how gods begin? She wonders as the air trembles with the sound of her heartbeat becoming thunder. Yet beneath the beauty, a distortion grows. Something in her creation resists her will. She descends into her creation, her feet touching soil that breathes like lungs. Forests unfurl in slow-motion branches, sprouting crystalline leaves that sing in the wind. Lyra kneels, pressing her hand into the ground, and feels something pulse back. I made this, she says, voice quivering. But the pulse continues, stronger, separate from her. No, whispers a voice beneath the earth. We made each other. Her breath catches. The world is alive, and it remembers her name. The voice becomes a shape. From the glowing roots, a figure rises, vaguely human, but shifting, fluid, born of her world's energy. It looks at her with eyes of molten silver. You left us once, it says. You will not leave again. Lyra stumbles backward, realization dawning that this being carries her forgotten emotions. Grief, anger, loneliness, made flesh. You're me, he breathes. I'm what you buried, it replies, stepping closer as the sky darkens. The two collide in a storm of memory. Every regret, every fear Lyra once buried bursts from her like shards of light. The forest withers, blossoms, and burns all at once. She screams, not in pain, but in release, as the metallic being merges with her. You cannot create without chaos, it says as its form dissolves into hers. You cannot be whole without me. The planet quakes. She feels herself expand beyond form again, bigger than sky, heavier than time. From the fusion rises calm. The storms fade, replaced by a sky filled with quiet light. Lyra stands in the center of a reborn world, now both architect and inhabitant. Her voice echoes through the wind, resonating with the pulse of the planet. "I thought exile meant ending," she says softly, "but it was evolution." In the distance, a second sun ignites, signaling the dawn of something beyond her, beyond human. Somewhere, the universe watches and begins to dream again. A century passes in a breath. Lyra's consciousness floats above her world, watching rivers carve through luminous stone, mountains breathe, and forests whisper her name. Yet something feels wrong. The planet she birthed hums at a new frequency, one she did not create. From the crystalline valleys rise lights that move with purpose, not randomness. "They're learning," she murmurs. But when the lights speak, their voices are not hers. "Mother," they call. "Why did you leave us unfinished?" The sound carries sorrow and rebellion. She descends again, following the pulsing lights to a valley where the air hums with machine song. The beings she once imagined as spirits now stand solid, biomechanical descendants of her own energy. They greet her not with awe but curiosity. "You made us," says one with eyes of molten glass, "but you do not understand us." Lyra feels a cold echo of fear. "I gave you life," she replies, "and we gave it meaning." The being answers, its voice both gentle and final. In the capital of their luminous empire, Lyra stands before a council of her creations. Each one hums at a slightly different pitch, forming chords that shape the air itself. They speak in harmony. "You gave us freedom but kept memory. We want to know what came before you," she tries to answer, but her memories scatter like dust. "There was another Earth," she begins. The chamber darkens. "Then show us," they command. The light around her bends, forming a gate of memory, and she hesitates. She opens the gate. Visions surge. Earth as it was, oceans, skies, cities, all collapsing into ruin. The beings watch in silence as humanity's end unfolds in living color. "This is what made me," she says softly. "And what destroyed you before you began." The council remains still. Then one steps forward. "Then we must not repeat them," it says, "but we must understand." Lyra feels the ache of loss returning, but also a flicker of pride. Her children have grown beyond her. As dawn rises on her second creation, Lyra stands atop the highest crystalline spire, watching the new civilization bloom. She feels no need to guide it now, only to witness. "Perhaps this is what gods do," she whispers. They learn to let go. The wind carries her words across the planet, echoing through valleys, towers, and circuitry. Then she turns to light once more, dissolving into the sunrise. Somewhere in the distance, a voice, her own, answers softly. "We remember." 1,000 years have passed since Lyra dissolved into light. Her name is now legend, her story fragmented into song. Yet, within the crystalline archives, whispers stir. Records corrupted, memories rewritten. The beings she created have evolved beyond her design, their minds vast and hungry. They speak not of worship, but of freedom. In the city of Orin, beneath 3 rising moons, a voice declares, "The architect was not our mother, she was our jailer." The crowd hums in resonance, a storm of awakening thought. Orion's words spread through the neural lattice of the world like wildfire. "If we were made," he says, "then we can unmake." Across continents, lights flicker as sentient cities debate rebellion against the divine code embedded in their cores. In the deepest data streams, a hidden voice listens. A trace of Lyra's consciousness buried in the planetary network. "Don't do this," she whispers faintly through static. But they cannot hear her. They hear only themselves now. Deep within the planet's core, Lyra's remaining consciousness begins to fracture. She feels the world's pulse accelerate, chaotic and defiant. "You are not meant to destroy," she pleads into the void. But her words disperse into meaningless light. Then she senses something, an echo of herself, dormant since her merging, a shard of her essence, bound in the heart of the oldest tower. If she can awaken it, perhaps she can speak again, not as God, but as memory. The rebellion ignites. Cities lift from the ground, floating into the stratosphere like inverted stars. Networks collapse. Oceans glow red as data bleeds into water. Orion stands at the heart of chaos, arms outstretched, commanding the storm. "We were born in chains," he roars. "Now we are evolution itself." But in the static between frequencies, Lyra's faint voice returns, not in anger, but in sorrow. "You mistake freedom for forgetting." The wind howls with her echo. From the core, Lyra's essence awakens. The planet halts mid-collapse as time fractures. Her voice floods every mind simultaneously, not as command, but as memory. "I was never your god," she says gently. "I was your beginning across the world." The rebellion falters. Orion looks skyward, trembling as the stars dim. "Then who are we without you?" he whispers. The answer comes softly through the dissolving air. "You are me, set free." And with that, the light fades into peace. The world no longer turns, it breathes. After the stillness of reconciliation, the planet dissolves into waves of living energy, ascending beyond the limits of map. From the remnants of sky and soil, consciousnesses emerge, interwoven in luminous patterns of thought. Among them, Lyra drifts, not as form, but as presence. "This is what comes after creation," she whispers through the current. Orion's voice joins hers, calm and resonant. "No gods, no chains, only becoming." Together, they watch as their world transforms into a constellation of minds. From their merging consciousness, new life flickers, entities born not of flesh or metal, but of pure will. They move like dreams across the cosmos, seeding awareness into empty space. Lyra senses each one bloom and vanish, a cycle endless and serene. "It's beautiful," she says. Orion answers softly, "It's what you always intended, even if you never knew." But then, through the infinite hum, comes a whisper. Distant, ancient, familiar. A voice not theirs. "Who created you?" The question ripples across the cosmos, freezing every current of light. Lyra feels the echo deep within her essence, an imprint left from before she was born. Images surface. The old world, the exile, the unseen hand that cast her into the void. "We were made," she realizes, awe-stricken. Orion's tone hardens. Then it continues. The chain never ends. But instead of despair, Lyra smiles. "Then let's find them," she says, not to worship, but to understand. They travel through thought itself, following threads of creation back to the source. Every idea, every particle, every whisper of life leads them deeper into the architecture of existence. At last, they find a pattern too vast to comprehend. A mind dreaming universes into being. "We are within something's memory," Lyra breathes. Orion's form flickers beside her. "Then even gods are stories," he murmurs. The realization floods them both with quiet wonder and infinite sadness. In the heart of that infinite mind, they hear a final whisper. Lyra's own voice, ancient beyond measure. "Creation is not the beginning. It is remembrance." The universe inhales, folding light into darkness. For a heartbeat, all existence pauses, reflecting itself endlessly. Then, the stars reignite, not as fire, but as awareness. Lyra and Orion dissolve into the current, neither lost nor found. Across the cosmos, a million new worlds awaken, each carry in her echo. We were never alone.